Okay, so we are in lesson 3 of module 2, translating lines. Remember, translations are those slides. The length does not change, but because it's a line, it doesn't have a length. We learned this last year, that lines go forever in both directions. Now, as we read this, it says, draw a line passing through point P that is parallel to line L. Well, wonderful, engage New York, forgot to label, this is line L. So this right here is line L. What does parallel mean? That's the most important thing that we need to start with. Well, if you're going, I know what parallel means. For me, the easiest way to remember this is a railroad track. Those railroad tracks are parallel. Parallel means that they will never, ever, ever intersect. They stay the same distance away no matter which direction they go. Because think about a train. If one of those tracks starts to come in, the train derails and we've got some problems. So, draw a line passing through point P that is parallel to line L. So, I'm going to try to draw this as parallel as possible. I'm going to call this line L prime. Why? Because I translated it. Translate, here's the original, I translated it up. Then it says draw a second line passing through point P that is parallel to line L and is different from this one. I'm going to give you a minute. Try to think of how I'm going to draw another line through point P that is parallel through line L. And you're probably thinking, well, that's dumb, Mr. H. You can't. You're right, you can't. There's only one line that's parallel passing through point P to line L. It would be the same line. We cannot draw another line. Okay? So, listen to this. If I translate a line to a given point, guess what? It's going to be parallel. These lines, L and L prime, will be parallel, which means they'll never intersect. So what does that mean to us as we keep on going? Yeah. Ready? I'm ready. Okay, so now we have a vector. Ooh, we learned about vectors already. A vector tells us the distance and the direction. So here's the distance and direction. We're translating this line this way. Translate the line L. Remember, line L goes forever in both directions. So it's going this way and this way. So I'm supposed to translate this line on the line. Okay, well, let me get my tracing paper. Let's try this. So, first off, how can I draw a line if it never ends? Well, I can't. And if it's translating on the line, guess what? It's going to be the same line. If it asks me to translate another image on this line, L and L prime are the same image. So, when we translate lines along vectors, guess what's going to happen? They're either going to be the same line or they're going to be parallel. There are no other options. In this case, we're translating it along the same line, which means the line will be the same. If we translate it at any angle or up and down, they will be parallel. Okay? So, let's move on. Line L is parallel to vector AB. This line is parallel to this line. Translate line L along vector AB. Okay, let's do this. Where's my tape? Here it is. Okay. Let's see what we can do here, folks. Uh-oh. I just dropped something. It's all right. I should probably come prepared. I didn't. It's been a long day. It's actually the first day of school. And here I am making videos because I'm awesome. I mean, you guys knew that. So, here's vector AB. So I need to have vector AB because this is what we're going to translate. Perfect. That looks awesome, Mr. H. There's B. And Miss Tucker's laughing in the background because she obviously appreciates my... Okay, there's L. So...
Teachers and students, pardon the interruption. A couple things we want to accomplish today in this period. Teachers, if you have students who are not sure what bus they are riding,
I hope you know what bus you're riding.
The document that was sent earlier has been cleared out, or actually there's some more that's been added for PM students. Would you please just find out if there's anybody in your 8th hour who's unaware of their bus number? take down their name and their address, and then I'll get those filled in before the end of the day. Also, teachers, if you would make sure that every student knows where their shine class is. Students, remember that your shine class is not listed on your schedule, just has your team. And so you're right, teacher may have told you that today, but just to verify that, teachers, if you would, before we move to our next period. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, I'm going to translate this line. So notice, I'm translating it directly left and right. I wonder what happens when that happens. So now, I've translated over. A goes to where B is. So, it would help if my tape didn't get punched up. Okay, there we go. So if I translate it directly left and right, so this is now B prime, this is now A prime, here's L prime. But just like before, when it goes the same direction as the line, did we create a new image? Well, no, because remember, this line goes forever and ever and ever this direction, and it keeps on going forever and ever and ever and ever in this direction. There are only two options when we translate lines. They're either going to be parallel or it's going to be the same line. Please understand that when we translate with vectors, they're the same line or they are parallel. Get away. Aha! So, without using the tracing paper, let's talk about it. Translate line L along the vector AB. What do you notice about L and L prime? So, are we translating it directly left and right? Well, the answer is no. So what do we know about this line immediately? Well, if I'm not going left and right, and I'm moving it up, down, or at an angle, that when I translate this, we know a couple things. The way that I can say this is L is parallel to L prime. L is parallel. So those two slanted lines mean parallel, L prime. This line is parallel to this line. Well, what else do we know? And this is important. I can say vector AB is perpendicular to L prime. And I can say vector AB is perpendicular to L. And if you don't remember what perpendicular means it forms a 90-degree angle. So those are perpendicular. So we've got two main words that we need to know. Parallel, they never intersect. Perpendicular, they intersect to form that 90-degree angle. We don't have much more to go on, guys. Okay. So let's look about this. Line L has been translated along vector AB, resulting in L prime. I want you, and listen to the directions here, because I'm going to check this one, so this is one you're doing on your own. I want you to tell me everything that you know about this picture. Based off of what we just did, using good geometric notation, parallel and perpendicular, tell me everything you know about this notation. And I don't think that I did this, so let me go back up real quick. And maybe I did. So when I drew this, did I use the perpendicular? Oh, then never mind, I did use perpendicular. In case you're wondering, I got Miss Tucker back here watching me, making sure that I'm not screwing up. So that's who I asked. So I want you to tell me everything that you know about this, whether it's parallel, perpendicular, whatever. I'm going to check this one. Let's move on. Translate L1 and L2 along vector DE. So again, you're going to need your tracing paper. So you're going to need your tracing paper because you need your remainder. Okay, so go ahead and get your tracing paper. Okay, so once you have your tracing paper, this is where it's going to be a little bit tough because I don't have enough tracing paper. So I'm only going to do a little bit. Okay, stop blowing, stop blowing. Just Rach, use more tape. Oh, darn it. Stop. Okay, should be good now. I used, oh my goodness. See, you hear what I'm getting? Miss Tucker's laughing in the background. She thinks it's funny. Okay, so I've got my vector. DE. And all I'm going to do I need to copy down the whole line? No. So, problem with Engage New York. Do you see arrowheads on this line one? No. If it's a line, it better have arrowheads. Just saying. So now I've got rain down on me. Okay, so when we do this, I take this away and I put D prime on my point. And I've now got not L1, what do we call this? Where's my marker? There it is. So we've now got D prime, we've got E prime, and we call this L1 prime. What do we know about these? We know that they are parallel. Okay? How do we know that? Because we moved it the same distance and direction. Okay? I'm not going to move L2 because when you move it along DE, guess what? It's going to be parallel as well. Questions? Okay, lesson summary. Two lines in the plane, and we haven't really talked about planes, but planes are two-dimensional figures that go on forever in four directions. Again, they're trying to teach you a lot of geometry in the middle of this. But two lines never intersect, and they are parallel in the same plane. Translations map parallel lines to parallel lines. Given a line L and a point P, there's only one line. Okay? What does this mean? You can only make one parallel line if it's given a point. So if I have a point and a line, I can only make one parallel line. I can only make one parallel line. I can only make one parallel line. If I have a line and I'm translating it this way, guess what? I'm still going to have a parallel line. If I have a line and the vector's along the line, it's the same exact line. Okay? So when you come in tomorrow or whatever that next day is, oh, just missed. We'll keep on talking about it. Have a good one, guys.